My name is Buschman. I'm a managing partner at COURIUS and I'm the author of the book The Connection Quotient. And I have a question for you. Do you dare to be vulnerable? So what do I mean with being vulnerable? Do you dare next to bring in your IQ and show that you're successful and making the results and building the results and being strong and powerful when needed and making the tough decisions? Do you also dare to be the human being part? Do you dare to show up and also not knowing? Do you dare to say, like, if you don't know, I don't know? If someone comes over to you and although you're the manager and you're expected to have the answers, say like, sorry, I don't know. Or even if you messed up, to say, sorry, I messed up. I don't know, I messed up. So do you dare to show you in your beautiful strengths as well as in your weaknesses, in getting the results done or where you messed up? And that takes courage and that takes vulnerability. Now, being vulnerable, in my perspective, is a choice. It's something you can actually learn by doing it. But how do you learn? And how do you make that choice? Well, in order to share a little bit on how you make choices, I would love to bring you a story of an old Indian. It might be an old Indian or a female Indian. And this Indian is sitting next to the campfire. And as you know what Indians do next to the campfire, they tell stories. So this grandfather or grandmother is sitting there with the grandchildren and saying like, you know, everything in life is a choice. Either it's a conscious choice or an unconscious choice. And then, you know, when you make a choice, you know, there's always upsides and downsides. And in this story, he tells like, you know, what happens to make a choice? Within your head, there are two wolves, a black wolf and a white wolf, and they are fighting with each other. And the black wolf, let's start with the white wolf. The white wolf might say, again, on the topic of vulnerability, like, of course, be vulnerable. You know, the white wolf comes from possibilities and options. So the white wolf would actually fight for, be vulnerable and just share, because by doing so, you get more intimate reactions and more intimate relationships. And also, you know, it reveals like that you're just a person, which is absolutely okay. You'll be role modeling also and inviting others to show up in who they are. You create a safe space, a psychological safe space where we can just speak up and be ourselves. So that's what the white wolf represents. But there's also the black wolf who says like vulnerability. No. You should not go there. You know, there is fear involved also with the black wolf. Because if you were vulnerable, the other person might misuse it. They might even misuse it against you. So you better stay safe, keep your mouth shut and just act and just be strong and just continue. So again, this grandfather or grandmother is telling this story, like how everything in life is a choice and that there's a white wolf and a black wolf and they're fighting with each other. By the way, the grandfather or the grandmother says like, it's not like you should always only listen to the white wolf. You know, the ones with options and possibilities and positive attitude here. Because sometimes it's wise to listen to the black wolf as well. For instance, if there would be a fire, since we're talking about campfires, there would be a fire in the room that you currently are in. You know, you could say, oh, that's interesting. You know, Marco is talking about this fire, this campfire, there's a fire in here. You know, I'm going to sit here, warm myself and listen to the rest of the video. That's an option. But in this case, it might also maybe be better to listen to the black wolf, where the black wolf coming from fear and from risk might say like, there's a fire, get out of the room, you know, get yourself safe. By the way, make sure there's all the others as well who are in the same building, that they are safe as well. So warn them, you know, and get the fire brigade here. So in this case, you might better listen to the black wolf. So the children, the grandchildren are listening and they go like, they look up to the grandfather, grandmother, and they're like, as children can do. They can see the wolves fighting, the black wolf, the white wolf, and they're fighting. But then they ask, but grandfather, then who wins? You know, if they're fighting, who wins? And that's a good question. It's a fundamental question. So you have different thoughts. So what's the thought that wins? And the response is really simple. The response is the wolf that you feed. Because if you will feed one wolf, it can dominate the other. Because therefore, you know, they have more muscles, more endurance and so on, more strength. So, and it's the same with vulnerability. So if you think about, do you dare to be vulnerable? What are your thoughts about vulnerability? What is your white wolf and what is your black wolf saying and thinking about vulnerability? And which is the wolf that you are actually feeding? And what are you thinking about being vulnerable at the workplace? What are your thoughts? And what are the food that you put into the thoughts for the white wolf and for the black wolf? And which one will dominate? So again, what I would like you to take away from this short video is like, everything in life is a choice. Either a conscious or an unconscious choice. And what if we would make it more conscious? What if we start noticing that around the topic, what is the white wolf and black wolf saying? And what is it that we're feeding here? Am I feeding the positivity, the options, or the negativity? And again, is that what you want as well? So in the book, The Connection Quotient, I will invite you to keep exploring, like, where are my thoughts? Where are my thoughts leading? And how do I balance both the IQ, EQ? How do I balance the white wolf and the black wolf? How do I balance the functional and the relational? And by doing so, what is the impact on the connection, either with myself, the other, the team, the organization, or the world?